I think we're live.
At least we're not dead.
All right, there we go.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Darkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're watching Tanner's Haunted Secrets
on the Outline Network. What they say.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a secret sound heading deep within the center of the earth. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn up the volume.
This is Maximus Christian Bryant with the Ohio Haunters Association, president, and you are watching Chainer's Haunted Secrets on the Owl Light Network.
Man, I love that ginger. Hello, 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 and welcome to my corner of this freak show that we call Chainer's Haunted Secrets. And I'll tell you what, Nate, you know exactly where that came from. Once again, we have Friday with us, and we have Nate, because I've been calling him Nick for 2 weeks. Every message has been, oh, we have Nick going to be on the show. Nick. By the way, his name is Nate Arrmy, and that was with one R. If you find him on Facebook, there is going to be 2 R's. So I just want you to know right now, it's not my fault. Everything, I'm blaming it on everything in my life.
I did not know this, so I set up the event with the information given. So here we are. And as for the corner of the freak show, I'm hiding in the closet of the freak show because they're all crazy.
You know what? As long as Jordan doesn't go and chase you with a toilet bowl plunger, it just seems like something that clown would do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let me just start out by saying, Nate, we can call you Bobo or we can call you Boo Boo.
You know what?
Doesn't matter.
I've been called as many things as you could think of with that name, so I'm used to it all. Whatever, man.
But you know what? I'm really glad because I was ticking down the weeks until we had you on the show, and there, I know you're not the owner of this haunt, but the owner has been notified about this show, and I just want you to know right now. Hi, Maddie. How are you? But no, he is supposed to be coming on the show sometime, but he's an extremely busy person. So if he starts watching this episode, see this guy right here. He made it before you.
I know. I'm definitely going to rub that in his face.
Absolutely. And those really, really, really wonderful 3D printed stuff I dropped off, like that skull. Let me just tell you that his wife wanted to throw in the trash and burn.
Why would
Just
you want to
saying.
burn that?
Yeah, that's
It
what
is
I'm saying.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And it's on my messy desk, by the way. But, my dad always told me a nice and clean and tidy desk is a sign of a truly sick mind. That's why, man, if this camera was off without the backdrop, this is movie magic as we do it. So enough about me. Let's start talking about you, and then we can start talking about me some more. So I want to know a little bit about you. What would you want people to know? And trust me, you're a smiley individual.
A smiley. I don't get that a lot. Well, I mean, I've been doing the haunted house this was our 13th year. I've been there for all 13. I don't even know why I started it, to be honest. I lived right around the corner from it growing up, and I seen they were open, and I was like, you know what? I need something to do on the weekends, thinking that it would last a couple years, and now I'm like, what happened? Especially because the wild part is, when I first started, I was working in a shower. You would turn a corner, and I was literally standing in a stand-up shower. Ned was walking me through, and he goes, here, I found a spot for you. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, it's the only open spot we have. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out. And then I came back.
So let me just tell you, the haunt that we're actually talking about is the notorious haunted town hall in Lafayette, Ohio. And trust me, I've heard about this haunt for years on top of years on top of years. And then my dear, wonderful ginger friend Max told me, hey, I got a friend that's up that way. Let's go to his haunt. It's St. Patty's Day. And I said, okay. He goes, oh, yeah. So as we go through this haunt, there is St. Patty's Day, leprechaun, everything. And he is picking up these coins, these golden coins. And he's like, oh, yes. So everybody's going through the haunt and they're yelling, give me your coins. And Max was actually handing the coins. And they're like, you're not supposed to pick them up. Max goes, Ned did not explain that one. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I have some of those gold coins around here somewhere still.
Yeah, I mean, they were taking gold coins and cutting them in half and putting them in pieces, people's faces and this and that. I mean, it was a great haunt. And I looked at it and I said, you know what? It's not too far away from me. And I can't wait to get myself in here and see if I can be part of this show. You guys put on a heck of a job. And you, sir, not only do you do a wonderful job, but you also were picked for the Ohio Haunters Association's Outstanding Haunters Award. Look at that beautiful face. Man, that just makes me want to go get some bacon.
Here's the full picture, guys. Isn't it awesome?
And
yeah, so that was a shock for me. I was not expecting that one.
I knew about it. Anyway. But no, you deserve it. You really do. I've seen how much you put into that haunt and this and that. And, I'm very glad that you did get picked with it because it gives me an opportunity to pick on you on this show a little more.
Yeah, right.
So what got you? I mean, I know what got you into it, but what keeps you coming back to this whole thing?
Honestly, it's a couple things. I think the biggest part is everybody at the haunt. It's just one big family. Like, you spend most of the summer with a lot of them, and then you spend the haunt season with all of them. It's just, I consider all of them my family. And then the other thing is, and this is going to sound weird for people who aren't in it, and maybe even some that are, it's a big stress relief, man. When you're having a terrible week and the lights go off and the show starts and you make some 6'4", jacked 300-pound guy fall to his knees and cry, you feel like you're 20 feet tall, bro. Like it's a big stress relief. But yeah, the biggest part is it's that being there for so long, it's become my family, and it's just a part of me.
I totally get it, and I understand it, and I see how you guys have your crew and this and that, and I will tell you, going there and being part of that extended family, I'll call you a cousin to my haunt. Any haunt that my haunters go to that can act are called cousins. And we've been up there, and I have been in the kitchen chasing people with toilet bowl plungers. I have been in the drop panels right before the boiler room, and I was informed at the end of the night that wall is not reinforced for climbing. Only after I was already over it like 5 times.
I've climbed it. Don't tell Ned, but I've climbed it.
You just told him.
Well, he'll be fine.
I've been in another drop panel with your upside down room in that haunt. I've worked with Ned and actually helped him design a room. Last year, that design became a actual reality, and I was really happy because, I got a chance to go over there. And in fact, I really kind of like working with Ned and designing things.
Yeah.
I can't work in my haunt. I go to other haunts and help them down at Hell's Dungeon or Haunt at Town Hall. And I love doing that. And it's probably what he's doing right now.
Probably. He's always, I don't know, he's always kind of blown me away with his ability to have a vision and then bring it to life and make it 10 times more than what we all thought could happen, if that makes any sense. He's definitely the creative one of the group for sure, because so after my first year of being in the shower, that next summer is when I actually started to go down there and help them. And that's when they looked at me and they were like, well, what kind of room do you want? And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, we're going to give you your own room. I was like, I have no idea. And so I went home that night and I was like, dude, I'm not creative like this. And it's weird. I was watching Tucker and Dale versus Evil. And I was like, you know what? Let's try a hillbilly room, man. So I went back the next day. I was like, I want to be a hillbilly. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right. And so the very first hillbilly room was nothing but Christmas trees on the wall and just a railing that looked like a porch. And I was like, all right, you know what? We can work with this. And I've been a hillbilly for 12 years now. And I don't think I could do anything other than that now. It's just, everybody knows me as the hillbilly. So just kind of been who I am.
Right. And as we're talking about this, I am absolutely sending him a message and asking him if he's got a big head.
Who, Ned?
Yeah, because we're feeding into his ego right now.
Oh, I know for sure.
He's a wonderful person. And it's going to be hard for this episode for us to not absolutely give him credit.
Yeah.
And just talk about you. I mean, you do a wonderful job, and I've seen what's underneath your cabin because I was there for that day too.
Yeah.
But no, I have seen your room, your scene absolutely evolve in the last year so amazingly, because one of the things that got done was that you guys actually got a thunderstorm above you.
Yes. So I had no idea that was happening. I walked in there it was the day we were opening, and they were working on it. And I was like, what are you guys doing? They're like, well, we're giving you guys a thunderstorm. And I was like, what? And so everything came together. And when we shut the lights off and turned the house lights on, it blew me away. I was like, this is crazy. This is awesome. But yeah, it's definitely, looking back from 12 years ago when it was nothing but Christmas trees on a wall, it's definitely come a super long way, and I can't take any credit for it. Once again, I wish I could, but it's definitely been Ned's vision. So,
and at some point, it's not just his vision. You guys have input and inspire him so many times, and even going down the road is absolutely a favorite of theirs because they go down the road and they see like a corpse of a deer, and they will turn that into something in that haunt.
oh, I know. Trust me, I know. I feel like honestly, he's always asking me, what I could see in there and like what I would want in there. And honestly, I think the only thing I could take credit for is the outhouse. I told him for years, I was like, dude, I just want an outhouse to pop out of. And then it started to happen where I would come out of the outhouse and kids would be like, oh my God, it's Shrek. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want the stupid outhouse anymore.
That outhouse is pretty awesome in my personal opinion, just because if you're a guy that's working the boiler room, you can go from there and then you can slip into the entryway to the torture jail room.
Yeah.
And then you wait for them and you can pop through the sliding door. And then a couple steps later, you're already right there at the Porter John at the outhouse and just looking at people. And that's amazing because that's 4 different spots.
Oh, yeah.
That you can make somebody jump. And then at the end of that, they can't wait to go see the hillbillies because then they're done with you and begging for you to get the hell away.
Most people would be like, why do you want people to be like, stay away from me? But I think one of my favorite scares, honestly, it was, I don't even remember what year, but it was one of the newer years after we put the hillbilly room in. This group of guys walked in, and we used to have a guy in a dress that would work in the cabin with me. And so I popped out, and these guys just instantly dropped to their knees and was like screaming at me to get away from them and this and that. So the guy in the dress walks up, and they're like, they have their face buried, like they're not looking at anything. And so this guy was really good at like a high-pitched voice. And so they thought it was a woman. And so they started to calm down, and they looked up, seeing it was him, and I'm still standing there. They stand up, push us out of the way, take off running. And so, of course, I'm like, well, I can't end it like that. So I start chasing them up the stairs, and every actor's staring at these guys running. They're like, where are they going? And I'm like, get out of my way, get out of my way. And so I chased them through the whole haunt, out the steps, to their car. Their one friend was sitting in their car, and their friend's dying of laughter. And so he's like, hey, I'll unlock the door for you. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. And so he unlocks the door, and so I sit beside these poor guys, and they're in tears at this point. And I kind of feel bad, but then I'm like, no, you guys are grown men. You did this to yourself.
Dude, that's why I like to ask that question, because every scare is so different because each actor has their own thing.
Right.
And I am a hillbilly from Tennessee and Alabama, so I love it.
Your haunt has absolutely challenged me to bring myself to a new type of level because my toys are banned. Like, I can't have a chainsaw. I can't do this. I can't do that. Ned absolutely has told me, nope.
Yeah. That has been a big thing for a lot of years. People come in and they're like, this would be awesome if we had a chainsaw. And I won't lie. There's always been a part of me that's like, they're kind of right. But Dave's always told me this, and it's just stuck with me from then. Anybody, even a 5-year-old, could come in to a haunt. You hand them a chainsaw, and they're going to be scary. And it takes, like you said, it takes a different approach to not have that chainsaw or something else to get the scare. And you're right, it definitely challenges you. Like, there's been multiple times where I'm like, and it happens a lot during the beginning of the season, and I overthink it a lot. I'm like, what am I going to do? Especially the first group. As soon as the first group comes in, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm about to do. But I've hit a point where it just kind of comes naturally, I guess, which is weird. But I've learned to like just not think about it and just jump out and do something. And I'd say 80% of the time it works.
Yeah, because they never know what to expect.
Right.
You could pop out and say nothing and give the creepiest smile and wave. And
exactly.
Dude, even if you're a kid, because my kid's done that, she has this pretty little purple dress on and a witch hat. And she just turns her head to the side and give the creepiest smile. And the parents look at her and just start running in the opposite direction. And I'm like, you're not supposed to be scaring people yet? We haven't got to that part of the day yet, kid. Because they're having a special thing at the little science museum first. And then we were doing trick-or-treating afterwards. But she is like killing it all day.
That's awesome.
So I will say there's always a time and a place. And scaring at a haunted house is the time and the place. Absolutely. I do not recommend you going out and trying to scare your friends and doing some of the stuff that we have done. I actually had a haunter call me up from the ER. Yeah, I broke my arm. How'd you do that? I was scaring my cousin. There's a time and a place. Yeah, well, my cousin won't go to the time or the place. So there's a thing in the haunt industry. It's called fear feeding.
Right.
Once you go ahead and you start getting that little taste of it, and this is probably the first episode I've really talked about fear feeding. Absolutely. Once you get that taste of it, and you have the control over that person, you just want more and more and more and more. And that's what you were talking about, chasing the person out, unlocking it, and making them cry their heads off. I mean, that's exactly what we do. We are here to absolutely entertain / make you feel uncomfortable. And if I've got to wear tearaway pants, I absolutely will.
Dude, and this will start when you're little, because my kid's already trying to figure out how to make her own haunt.
Right, we're talking about haunting, not the tearaway pants on little kids. I'm just pointing that out.
When I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when I was a kid, I was complete opposite. I was terrified of everything. I couldn't I wanted nothing to do with going to haunted houses with my friends. Like anything scary, it was not me. And then I don't know what happened to me, but here I am. So
thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've seen you push people backwards and this and that. And I know one of the main rules is that you're supposed to scare forwards. I'm bad at this.
Yeah.
In fact, Ned knows I'm bad at this because I chase them from one room to another backwards. And I've been told, hey, you got to scare them that way. It's like, but they got to come back to me sometime.
Exact. I'm guilty of it too. And he's told me the same thing. He's like, look, if you're going to do it, at least chase them the right way. And I'm like, look, I don't tell them which way to run. All right. As soon as they start running, something inside me is like, you got to go after them. So I get it. Trust me, I do. And I told him, I'm like, I don't tell them which way to run. They pick it and I follow. Uh-oh.
No tearaway pants allowed, he says.
Oh! That's never a good thing. He actually showed up for an episode. Hey, we need to get him on the show one of these days. You think so?
I think he should.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He's
Ned,
yeah.
Become one of us.
But just remember, I did it first.
Yes.
He's just a follower at this point.
Exactly.
No, Haunted Town Hall is an amazing place. And, you know, I it's one of those haunts that I could do multiple episodes over every single actor because the actors that have been there for a while absolutely make their own scenes. And I can say, watching you, I could tell you've been there. That's your place. You've got your vibe. You can smell the smell. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, is that the smell of fear? Because I made someone poop theirself.
Yeah, there's definitely been some body fluids going around in the cabin. I tell everybody that. All the new people,
Yeah.
They'll come in and they'll go to sit on the floor or something. I'm like, hey, whoa, don't do that. And they're like, why? And I'm like, you don't want to know what's been on this floor, people. Come on now.
Yeah. But no, I can actually say, there is a whole story that Ned and them have absolutely tried their hardest to keep structured of that place, and they've done a really wonderful job. Every time they change a scene, the exact same thing has happened. Friday, you could go ahead, pop that one up. I've heard.
Who are you people and what is this haunted town hall? LOL.
Oh boy.
I'm just like, already.
You know what? We're gonna bring this up once again here, if I could find it.
I can understand who am I?
So Haunted Town Hall in Lafayette, Ohio is this place that has this weird mark on a skull. No, it's a really wonderful haunt. And Ned, if you've not figured out, we are Chainer's Haunted Secrets. And this is a show that you should have been on like in year 1 and you didn't make it.
And for those who want to find it, it's in the links wherever they go. You'll find a link to go find them.
But no, it is a absolutely beautiful building.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely got a lot of history behind it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there are so many stories and so many lore to this. And I know the lore to it has been created. But what the? I'm so confused at some of the things that pop up sometimes. But no, I could not be happier for this place. But you know what? Let's talk more about you and less about, the building, which, So I don't know what got you to the point that you're just like, snap, this is where I belong.
I wish I could tell you. I can tell you when we first. So when I went from being in the stupid shower, Ned, and then having my own room and scene, I was so confused and scared. Like that whole summer, I was asking Ned, what do I even do in here? And I talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people told me to watch the movie Deliverance. As I'm like 16, all right, let's get that out of the way right now. He's telling me to watch this movie while I'm 16.
I watched it when I was 10.
Okay, well, you beat me there. So I watched the movie. And I told him, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can say this stuff to people. He's like, oh, no, you got it. And I'm like, dude, like, you expect me to say this stuff to full grown men? And he's like, yeah, you got it. And so when we opened, right after the year that we built the Hillbilly Room, I was in my spot and I was like, dude, I can't do this. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so I busted out the group, jumped back, and I look at the only guy in this group. And it took me a second and I was like, hey, you. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, and I said this stuff. I'm not going to say it on here. And he was like,
no,
what did
you can.
Okay. So I looked at him. I was like, bend over, touch your toes. I'm about to show you where the wild goose goes. And he's like, what? I'm like, what? And he got so terrified, dude. And I'm like, holy crap, it worked. And so I've said some really out of pocket stuff, and I'm sure Ned's heard about a lot of it. But I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just me in character. Like, I'm just a crazy out-of-pocket hillbilly, and I'm gonna make you bend over and touch your toes. So, but yeah, there's definitely something that when the lights go out and I hear the first group come through the front door, it's definitely a totally different person from the person you would see out on a Monday night, hopefully, I think. But yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's absolutely hilarious just because
I love that.
that's a Super Trooper reference right there.
Yeah. So I've said some wild stuff that's even like after the group left, I turned to who's ever working with me in the cabin, and I'm like, did I just say that? And they're standing there like, did you really just say that? And I'm like, I guess I did.
I'm not gonna lie. I always enjoy hearing what actors' favorite quotes are, this and that. And
So yeah, I have a favorite quote.
Yeah, honey glaze.
Oh, the intestines pieces. Oh gosh. All right. So the old doctor at the haunt, gave me a piece of intestines that looked like a different body part, if that makes any kind of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ran with it, and Ohio Valley Haunts came through when they were doing our review that night, and I pulled it out of my pocket, and one of the guys instantly looked at it. He's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "What is that?" And so I shoved it in his face, and I started twirling it around and everything. And they actually put it in the review, and I was not expecting him to do that. So yeah, there's been some questionable calls, but we made it.
It's funny. Okay,
So
Jetty.
what of your backstory, your lore of your character? What is the piece of your history that just makes you happy and giggle?
Like, so from the story, the mayor found us to basically collect people for scientific purposes, wink wink. And so like they go through, they just started a couple years ago, like telling people about the hillbillies when they walk in the building. And so like you could tell from before, when they started bringing us into the story, people would come in and be like, what are these hillbillies doing here? And then now they hit us, they see it, and they're like, oh crap. And so I don't know, it's cool to be a part of the story. And it definitely, like I said, when people walk in and see us after they hear our story now, they're like, uh-oh, here we go. And it's just, I don't know, it's really cool to be a part of the story, I guess, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Oh yeah,
it does.
And the story is awesome. I keep wanting haunts to make their backstory into books you can buy. Yeah. That way you have a piece of the haunt you can keep and read it and go back and see what new lore is added next time you go.
Right. Yeah, that would be really cool. I've been trying to talk Ned into making calendars for years, but what do I know?
Hey, Ned! Make the calendar. Mail one to Texas.
I could just see that going horribly wrong.
Oh, no, I think it'd be great.
All the characters and monsters being sexy posed.
Exactly. Come on, man. What more could you want?
Dude, I'm not saying I want to buy it.
If we can talk Ned into it, I'll get you one for free.
I want a truck size. Like a car, that way I could scratch off the day of the week. be like, yeah, Bobo the client or Bobo the hillbilly.
Oh, wow.
Mr. March. Mr. March is going to be Bobo.
You can be
I'm here
January.
For it,
Why can't you be January?
I'll if we can talk him into it, I'll be whatever month he gives me. I don't care.
You know what? You give me the pictures. You give me the pictures. I'll make one.
All right, deal. We don't need you, Ned.
I'll put OHA's mark on it.
There we go. You're out of the picture, Ned.
Enjoy those keychains. Oh man. Anyway, I love this show just because we get a joke and we get a laugh and we get to have a great time. And I'll tell you, it's one of the most relaxed. What do you, huh?
All
I don't
of
get
the months.
Yeah, if he's saying no month, that just means I get all of them.
February, March, May, June, July. What happened to April? Oh, it's a fold out. Look at the axe. This, like I said, this is one of the best things I love about this show. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it'd be a hit. It'd sell out.
Yeah.
This is the one that we still haven't talked about.
That's the kitchen, and that kitchen has been redone.
Yes, and
yeah. There's a bowl that's in that kitchen that is no longer round. It is flat.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it, but I did.
So it was one of the nights I was working up there, and I had no idea what to do. And I was talking to Ned. I was like, dude, I don't know what to do in here. And he was like, there's a bowl in there. He goes, fill it up with water and just throw it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And so I dumped like 2 whole bottles of water in there, and I didn't realize what was going to happen. And I literally threw the bowl, and I started beating it on the thing, and the group ran out, and I looked at the bowl, and I was like, uh-oh.
So let me put this bowl in everybody's head, okay? This is a metal bowl that's about this big, okay? And it curves, and it had a nice curve. Everybody has used that, and now it is about that big of a bowl because everybody just takes it and goes bang, bang, bang with it. I took it and I slammed it down, and I asked them if you like pudding. And when they said, yeah, I like pudding, what's your favorite kind of pudding? And they look at me and go, well, what's the matter? And I'd pull out a toilet bowl plunger. And I'd be like, you want to lick the pudding? And that's when everybody was freaking out, and they were going backwards. That's when I was told, no, you're supposed to scare them forwards. I know I'm supposed to, but you know what? I chased this one guy around that table 3 times. And every time he ran into the head, like the dangling heads.
Yeah.
Because this room has dangling heads. And he hit his head on that 3 times, swinging it back and forth, going, no. And finally, he went into the new section. And as soon as he hit that one switch and that air blew, he screamed like a girl. And I was like, there wasn't no girl in that group. And this is the beautiful thing, because the last couple of years, there's always been the guessing game of what's going to get redone. And it might be slight things sometimes, but they're amazing how the slight things have been redone. I mean, that is a entire straightaway of like a laundry area now.
Yep.
It was fun to chase people through laundry, and so let me ask you this, okay? Have you ever been at a secret hidey hole waiting for them to come, and then they accidentally found your hidey hole and went into the hidey hole?
It's bad. In the hillbilly, in the cabin, in the woods, it's extremely bad because there's like 3 or 4 different spots they can come in what we could come out of, but they end up coming in, and I have no idea until probably they're standing there for 5 minutes, and I turn over and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "We're lost," and I'm like, "Yeah, I see that."
I ain't gonna lie. I love it when something doesn't work, but you as an actor make it work.
Yeah.
And it freaks them out even more because they possibly would have been able to catch you off guard, but no, you caught them off guard even more.
Yeah, that's here we go, making his head big again. But that's one of the big things that like I learned from Ned was always be in character when you're in there. Like, and another big thing which has helped me tremendously every year I've been there is you're not going to scare everybody in a group. Like, you're going to have the scared people and you're going to have the people that's there to laugh at the scared people.
Mm-hmm.
But those people paid just as much money as the people that are scared, so they deserve a show too. Even if you can't scare them. Like, that's always been my philosophy after being around Ned is even if you don't scare them, give them a show. And 9 times out of 10, they appreciate that more.
So when you're going through and you're doing haunted houses, like you try going to haunted houses yourself, right?
Oh yeah, I love them. Now I do.
Okay. Nice. Really? What's up with that picture?
I'm trying to delete it and add the better one for later.
Anyway, back to my question because that took me off guard. Anyway, when you're going through haunted houses, what's something that you personally like to see when you go through?
I like to see actors trying. Even I feel like, especially if you're wearing a piece of like your haunt's gear or something like that, like a sweatshirt or something, I feel like as soon as I see that, they try 10 times harder. And I absolutely love it. But another thing, one of the big things that I like to go and see is a detail. Like, I went to, where all did I go this year? I think I only hit Land of Illusion. But like the detail at that place is crazy. And that's one of the things that I just love to see is like all the work and the detail that people put into places.
That's awesome. And I like the details and I like the little Easter eggs. And I like this and that. It's always one of those things. Jenny, when you go to a haunted house, what's one of the things that you enjoy watching?
Dude, the thing I usually look for is how different is it? You'll find out later. Thanks, Gwen. I want to see what they have. I look forward to seeing what's new and how they change things up because there's multiple different haunted jails. And the one in DeRidder will be different than the one there in Ohio. And but how you have the scary warden lady is very different between each one as well. So it's awesome. I just want to see the haunt and what they do. That is my goal. This is the one I meant to bring up.
Oh boy.
This is one of the coolest pictures ever.
Yeah, so I don't know. One of the things that I wouldn't say struggle with, but like I hate doing the same like makeup and effects over and over again. Like I feel like once I do like one thing for 1 year, I need to completely change something up because those people that were there last year deserve something different. So like I'm constantly like, and I'll be honest, I suck doing my own makeup. So like I like to practice, but then like once the first night rolls around, I'll do it and I'll like tear it off, show up at the home and be like, Ned, come on, man, hit me with something. But yeah, that's just, I feel like the people who come there year after year deserve something different. So I try my best to at least change, not necessarily my whole character up, but give them something different to look at, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Oh, yeah.
There is a haunt that we had on the show. They actually have a character that he decomposes as the year goes on. Yeah, he absolutely will come in and his face will look like he's dead. But as he goes on, he just absolutely looks deader and deader and starts to decompose and rotting.
That's sweet. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Now I figure out why I couldn't find you earlier. He gave me the wrong name. Now I can find you. Hence the new pictures.
It's not my fault. His Facebook is very misleading.
No, it's not. Now that I have the right name, guess what I was able to find within 20 seconds?
Probably a lot of haunt pictures.
Now this is my fault. Oh yeah, it's mine. You know, that I will say being around you guys absolutely is a wonderful thing. You all have a positive attitude. And the only time that you guys don't have a positive attitude is when you don't have someone to scare. And you're just getting bored. And how do you battle the boredom?
Man, it's tough. I don't know. That's something that I struggle with. And like, I try not to seem like I'm struggling with it, especially around like the newer people, because I don't want them to, you know, be like, well, this sucks. I don't know why I'm here. I know at least like the people that like I work with and are close to me, like we'll just be constantly bouncing ideas off of each other for the group that does show up. And you know, we'll all sit together and we'll talk about the best group of the night so far. Just stuff like that. Just keep yourself entertained until it's showtime again.
Another great thing I will point out about Haunted Town Hall is that they make sure that you guys are hydrated. There is no excuse.
Yeah.
If you say, "Oh, I'm thirsty," there is no excuse that there is no water.
Yeah,
they will
absolutely.
kill you with hydration. And then they'll laugh at you as they kick you down some steps.
Yeah, that we definitely make sure, like you said, that they stay hydrated. Another big thing we try to like stay on top of, especially it really with any actor, but especially with our female actors, we want them to feel as safe as they can be. So, you know, when we have our meeting before the season starts, we show them all the emergency exits. You know, we tell them if something does happen to you, talk to this person, talk to that person. But yeah, it brings it back to we're a family there. And so we just want everybody to stay safe. And like you said, kill them with hydration and then stuff them in a body bag because props aren't cheap.
Yes, I tell you guys to drink. And what do you guys do? Next thing you know, you guys are, my throat is sore.
Yep, I hear that one a lot.
Jenny, I'm going to let you ask this question, and then I'll throw one at him.
Okay. While in between hot seasons, do you like keep notes and ideas? Do you write them down or type them up on your phone or whatever?
Oh yeah, like I have
next year.
Yeah, and I'm terrible about it. As soon as we're done for the year, I'm constantly already thinking about next year and what I could do. And yeah, I have in my phone, I have probably 10 different pages of notes of ideas. And so, yeah, it's definitely, for me at least, like, it's obviously not, but it's an all year round thing for me, just because, like, I love doing it so much. Like, I'm just constantly thinking about, hey, I could do this next year, or this might work for next year. So yeah, I definitely keep notes.
Awesome.
So my question is, first off, we're coming up to the first hour. Are you going to stay for the second hour?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. That means that the questions that we have, we can throw over into the second hour, because, you know, we could cook the last 10 minutes, or we could roast you in the last hour.
Then we could always do Dante time.
Well, Dante time's going to be on the second hour.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's part of the roasting.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's part of the roasting.
That's why I wanted to make sure that, you know, we're not going to forget Dante time. So is there any piece of advice that you would give to haunters that are starting up, still new, younger ones that are jumping into this and wanting more experience?
Honestly, just stick with it. Like, it gets so much better and so much funner the longer you do it. And I know that sounds weird, because you're like, a lot of people think the longer you do it, the more I don't even know the word, but
complacent.
Yeah, and that's totally not how it is with haunting, at least for me. Like I was ready to be done after my first year, but I was like, you know what, we'll stick around. And now each year I'm just counting down until the next season. So definitely stick with it. To grow your character, I would definitely say talk to the experienced people around you. I know, at least at our haunt and surrounding haunts like your haunt, nobody's there to not be friendly with the monsters, at least. And I tell all of our new people this: if you have any questions, talk to all the experienced people. And I mean, I learned a lot of my stuff just by watching movies and taking like this piece from this and this piece from that and just piling it together. So yeah, definitely reach out. I mean, everybody that I've talked to has been nothing but friendly about advice. So I feel like the haunt community has each other's back no matter what. So even if it's not someone from your haunt, even if it's Pyle, even if it's me, even if it's Ned, I guess, everybody just wants every haunt to succeed. So
that's really weird, because, you know, I would never tell you come talk to me. I never give good advice.
I say the same thing. I tell them they can come talk to me, but I make sure I'm the last one on your list, because I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. So
are we ever supposed to actually know what we're doing?
Maybe one day, but I'm still just out here winging it, so we'll see.
I'm 38 years into this. I'm still winging, because I'm lost.
I've always said, just so you know, haunting is subject to change, and subject to change is going to be next year or in the next 10 seconds. Because it's truly this industry. If you're going to get into this industry and you think, yeah, I got this, you're going to fail. And you're going to fail. And you're going to fail. And the thing is, don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as I figured out a new way of not doing it correctly.
Right.
Because the haunt industry is something that evolves. It is something that absolutely is changing constantly.
And she says she has no clue, but your advice is awesome. And you've helped her to get better and improve her haunting.
Well, that's nice for you to say about Nate there. I'm very glad that you're able to talk about Nate in such a positive way. No, she's actually one of our haunters, and I'm very proud of her. And I've always told them to figure out what you want and figure out your character, and don't just look at it and say, "I'm a clown," because I'm going to come around and I'm going to beat you with a stick and tell you, "I'm a clown." Well, this is a stick. And the thing is, I'm not trying to be negative when I say this. What I'm trying to say is, what made you a clown? Where did anything that you thought was going to be a good idea come from? And I'm not saying that your character is not going to be a good character, but you need to have that mentality. You need to figure this out. You need to look at it. And unfortunately, I don't have a full army. So I can't look at you and say, "Hey, I'm going to team you up with this clown because this clown's going to be able to train you." No. The reason that you are in the clowns is because you chose that, and you're the only one there.
Right. No,
that's just one of those things. I mean, every character has a different zoning, and that zoning is very hard to have another person with you when you are so short on things. And when I say short, I mean my numbers are always going to be low, because I've said it many times in this podcast, and if you guys have not heard it, I want somebody to go back through and watch every single episode. That way you can see how many times I've told you that our haunt is a training haunt. It trains you. Yes, we want to teach them to scare. Yes, we want them to be powerful at our haunt. But I'm training everybody. That way they can get older and say, "You know what? I want to take mine to a different haunt." Then go to that haunt, and I want you to show them what you have learned. But do not ever look at somebody when you go to a haunt and say, "I know everything and there's nothing you can teach me." Because you're lying. You're absolutely lying, and that person will call you out on that lie, because every single haunt is different. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've been very excited. But every time that I get put in a different spot, or a different season comes around, or this, I haven't seen Haunted Town Hall do it lately. A off-season haunt, but I'm telling you, you guys have done Friday the 13th before, and it's absolutely amazing having it. It's really hard to see and go in on a Saturday the 14th and see Jason Voorhees, and everybody's like, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "Oh."
Yeah. And back to what you were saying, when I first started into it, I was really lucky to work around Ned and Dave and Jim and everybody else who, what I think, no matter what they say, knew what they were doing and did it super good. And so I got to learn from them. And now, like, I have people working around me, and they're acting like how I was with those three. And I'm like, I don't know why you guys think I'm good. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So don't take advice from me. And yet, as soon as a group walks out, they're like, "Well, how'd you do this?" or "How'd you do that?" And I'm like, just wing it. I don't know what to tell you guys.
And that's the thing. You play your character. You can't tell them how to play their character.
Ooh, guess what you might need to do soon.
You heard it here first.
Okay, let me just point out, since he just spoiled it, I might have known about it.
Oh, well, I'm glad I was in the loop, guys.
Well, once again, I have crappy 3D printed ghosts, and I just want to point out how crappy they look. and how they should have been thrown in fire and melted. And whatever else Nettie said that day, because she was on a roll and it was great. But no, I can never look at you guys and say, oh, you guys got it down pat, because things change.
Yeah.
Your scenes change. And sometimes on a rainy night, your scene is going to change from the time that you started to the time that you end, because there might be a hole in the roof. And you just got to figure out, what's going on.
Right.
And if somebody says anything about the water that's on the floor, you just look at them and say, that's from the last person.
Yep. That's their special effects.
Yeah. But
guys, the one thing you gotta understand about haunters is they excel at improvisation, adapting, and overcoming.
Oh, I gotta pop that. Yeah, right there. Just so you know, I still use the same thing in the intro. Hello, and welcome to my corner of the freak show. She knows it every single time, because I told her that I stole something from her, and she goes, I've had to say that so many times. By the way, let me ask you that before we go to break here. Is there something that you have said so many times that you're like, I don't want to say it again?
I don't know. I struggle with saying the messed up lines that I say, the whole bend over, touch your toes. And I always tell myself that, like, I think I'm done with that. But then a group of guys walks in and I'm like, I gotta say it again. And it just works. So I'm like, I can't stop it. Like, I really try. But so I don't think there's some stuff that I don't say anymore, just because, like you mentioned, like, I'm burnt out on it. But a lot of my stuff I still say just because I can't help myself and I think it's funny.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even she thought it was iconic.
Yeah.
So we're officially at our 1 hour here. We're going to take our small little break. It's going to be a 3-minute break. We have some commercials that need to be said. And then we're going to be right back. And when we come right back, we're going to smack him with some fun questions here. I will smack...
Greetings and shabebans. We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Reductibus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh. And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Dorking Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Reductibus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
And we're back. Well, some of us.
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, she's jumping on it. Look at that. But you know what? The next message here is the best part right there. Everybody is happy that you're going to get smacked. I'm just saying. I don't know what you did in your life to deserve this smacking.
I'm here for it.
Alrighty. So, mainly it's Dante. Sometimes it's Raven and Sophia, but this time around it is Dante. And his first reaction when he saw you was to ask what your favorite toy was. Your character's favorite toy was.
So I have two favorites. It's either my axe or my pig head. I've had the axe longer, so I'm kind of more attached to that, but the pig head's pretty cool. So
that is awesome. Do you have a favorite video game?
Favorite video game? I don't know. I've been playing a lot of the NCAA football, the new one that just came out. So probably football games.
Okay.
Although I have been playing a lot of Phasmophobia, which is a ghost hunting game.
Ooh,
that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Are you a Minecraft fan?
I used to be. I haven't played it in years. Everything on my Minecraft world's probably gone by now. So
I'm
you
guilty.
like
I was playing that earlier.
Do I like what?
Gummies.
Who doesn't like gummies? Come on now. Favorite ones probably can't go wrong with the sour gummy worms.
Oh yeah, those are always good. Do you like trains?
Trains? I did until I moved so close to a train track, and now they're kind of annoying.
Whereas with me, it's opposite. I grew up next to a train track.
So when I was
13 years of my life there.
Yeah, when I was a child, I lived like super close to a train track. Like it was basically right beside me, and it never bothered me growing up. And then when I moved out of that house, I was like nowhere near one. And when I moved back here, we're close to one. And now I'm like, every time I hear it, I'm just like, seriously, come on. So.
Okay, so just to let you know, you are not near a regular train track. Oh no, you are near one of the highly most used ones. That goes from Michigan into Canada down to Florida.
Yeah, well, I can tell that it's used a lot, and I will say the only good thing about this train track is the trains do not stop or go slow by any means.
Oh,
They're
no.
here and gone, so that's one good thing about it.
Oh yeah, I mean it could be a 3-mile long train, and that thing is gone.
Oh yeah,
and yep. Ironically, you're right beside the same railroad tracks I am.
Oh, so you get it.
Oh yeah, I know those tracks. Choo choo. It's like,
yep.
But the thing is, we have a 2-track, so sometimes the train will sit right beside and let everyone pass. But so one of the questions was, do you like gummies? And let me just tell Dante, I used to love gummies. My sugar does not like gummies now. And there's a horrific story about sugar-free gummies.
Oh no, you didn't eat the whole bag, did you?
No. It's not my story.
They ate more than one?
I read this story and come to realize this is a terrible idea because Amazon has this story in their review by a military base that took a bag of gummies and shared the whole bag with their whole platoon. And it was not the small bag. It was the biggest bag you could buy of sugar-free.
Oh, dear.
And they were on the gun range.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's a great story. You guys should absolutely look it up. and you will be horrified of the liquidated assets that this entire platoon had. It.
It's alright. Oh dear.
Oh yeah, it's a great story. It made me laugh. But so I want to say that when it comes down to the characters at Haunted Town Hall, some of them have been like, oh, yeah, I see this character. Yeah, it's there and then it disappears. But there are some characters that are at this haunt that, mind you, you go up and down I-75 here in Ohio, you are so close to it, you could spit on it.
Uh-huh.
Because, I mean, it's not that far away from the, yeah. I mean, it takes me about maybe 20 minutes to get there. If Ned says, hey, come over, I got a project, it takes me 15. And there is a little carryout not too far away from this place. And I will tell you now, they have the new respect of me on a buffalo chicken sub. I'm just saying. That place amazed me. And it's all because of Ned. Ned, you fed me one, and I said, okay. And then I'm like, man, this is like the cat's meow. But talking more about the Haunted Town Hall, I mean, there is so much to this, and I'm so grateful that you guys ain't too far away. You guys welcome us to come in. I mean, most of you guys have no choice. I mean, we just talked to you. But yeah, I mean, our haunters absolutely look at you guys and say, okay, this is different territory. What kind of stuff should we use? And you guys absolutely have amazed us. Before there was a vampire, now there's like a really rocking vampire that is now a doctor. And when you have fake blood in any place, I want you to know there's a possibility that the fake blood might brush against someone or something. Haunted Town Hall is one of those places that you just might walk out with a new paint scheme on your arm.
Yeah.
Friday, I know you want to say something. I have no idea about. Yeah.
Okay. I love
just going to go back to this.
Of authors. So I wanted to ask haunters, both of you, if you had the ability to sit down and talk to your haunt character that you play, would you want to? And what do you think the conversation would, how do you think it would go?
You go first.
Oh boy. I think I would do it. The conversation would be wild for sure. It'd definitely be an interesting one though. I'd 100% do it.
Dude, that would be so much fun.
Which character are we talking about? Let me just tell you, Chainer's a downright fucking dick asshole.
Mm-hmm.
I love you too. I mean, when it comes down to Chainer, he's just an asshole. There's no care in the world. You're a plaything to him, or you're a possible meal, and he will actually tell you at what temperature you have to be cooked. For everybody that wants to know, that's 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That's inner temperature. And humans do have a dark meat and a white meat side to them.
And it's also easier to cook them if they are cut into pieces.
Yeah. There's just so much to that character that and the thing is, he's got a flip brain. So he can go from one extreme clear to the other extreme. Now if we're talking about Honey Glaze, which one of my friends brought up Honey Glaze. Honey Glaze is absolutely a character I would talk to and have dinner with and sit down, because I know he would eat chicken wings, the entire thing, and he would just slime himself with the chicken wings. There's also a character I've done called Trader Claus, and that is like the most relaxed kind of creepy. I went down an alley and I found this guy with a Christmas tree, but I traded him whatever item I had for a candy cane. I mean,
it was Nathaniel.
yeah. I'm that is when it comes down to characters, every character has to be different. No character can be the same. My character can't be the same as yours, because mine didn't grow up in the same mentality as yours. Let me ask you this. Would you like to have a conversation with the character that you played in the shower?
Yeah, probably not. I think I'd rather talk to Bobo, but the conversation would definitely be wild. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. But it's how to explain a true character when you have put so much time, effort, and I even told my haunters in the beginning, sometimes you gotta seal your character up. Absolutely, find a way to seal him up. Do whatever you can, because you don't need to live in that character all the time. There's a time and a place to release that character. And, me driving down to Cincinnati, I can't have, Chainer take the wheel. Otherwise, that would be bad. In fact, one of the books actually talks about what Chainer drives, and he drives a semi. And that was way before I got CDL. How creepy that worked out.
Dude, like, wow.
Yeah.
I want that cup, though.
My cup?
Yes.
This one?
You can see why, right?
I have no idea.
Yes.
Why would you? Even fear has a smile.
Like,
by the way, my father hates that he hates that. I've put that on so many things when it comes down to chainers, and it's always been chainers. Even fear has a smile, or chainers where screams do the most good. He likes the screams do the most good, but he doesn't like that even fear has a smile. And he says it's one of those things that I'm trying to justify having the smiley face. That's not actually it. It's we're scaring the piss out of you, and behind our mask, we're laughing and smiling all the way. And you know that feeling, don't you?
Oh, 100%. There has been some questionable times where I have to just get the group out of there before I just bust up laughing at them, and then have to explain why I'm laughing at them. And I've done that, and somehow I've pulled it off. Thanks for that, Kennedy. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's definitely hard to not just burst into tears laughing in front of a group.
What has been your funniest scare?
Oh boy. So
yeah, I want to hear this one.
I think the one that sticks out to me the most, that I wasn't laughing in the moment, but at the end of the night, I was busting up. So we had a guy come in. He was by himself, and he hit the cabin, and I jumped out, and he started to backpedal. So of course I'm like, well, it's time to shine. So I take one step towards him, and he just pukes everywhere, all over my cabin, all over my radio. I jump back. I'm like, nope, I am not dealing with this. So I go outside, find Ned. I'm like, dude, you need some kitty litter in there, and I'm not the one to clean it up. And he's like, why? What happened? And I was like, dude, I scared this guy so bad that he puked. And he was like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes. So we go back in there, and I mean, dude, there's just puke everywhere. And this guy's apologizing. He's like, I didn't realize I could get so scared that I'd throw up. I'm like, dude, you just need to go. Like, I don't want to see you right now. I'm about to throw up. Just go. So yeah, that was an interesting one.
More reason that we should never, ever sit on your floor.
Exactly. See, there has been some fluid on that floor that should not have been there.
Do you have one file?
I've made 2 people throw up. I've made one person absolutely pass out and hit the ground. I've made another one almost pass out, but I was able to snap her out of it before she went. I've made somebody. The funniest one was probably the year 1. I was at Lockington Haunted Firehouse. Boy, that's some old school right there. A haunted firehouse that gets shut down by a state fire marshal. But, so, let me just tell you. This is the first time I used chainsaw. Okay? I didn't know exactly what I was doing with it. Didn't know how good I was going to do with it. This and that. Out of the building, I hear this guy go, "Yay, we're done." And another guy goes, "Yeah, good, because I got a shit." And when he said that, he's like, "Man, I got shit bad, man." He goes, "Man, we shouldn't ate there." And he's like, "I'm not feeling a problem." He goes, "Boy, it is rumbling." And he goes, "Yeah." And one guy goes, because there was 3 guys in this group, you know, not judging. There's 3 guys in this group, and they all came down, and I was in this area where you couldn't see me, and I always let them go past, and the first chainsaw would pop up, and the guy that was rumbly tumby was the second person. They all 3 went past me, and I start following them. And I was like, okay, if this chainsaw is going to start up, it better start up the first time. Right now. This is going to be great. Second, the guy that was working with me fired up his, and he chased him back towards me. That guy goes, "Oh, let's not do that." Nope. Turns around. I fired mine up, and I went right at him, and he goes, "Oh! Oh!" And the other 2 guys are like, "Are you okay?" He goes, No. And in fact, I think I should probably ride in the back of your pickup truck home. And I smiled really big, as smiling as I could. And he goes, "So, are we done?" "No." And he goes, "Can I be done?" "No."
Oh, no.
And they're like, "Well, how do you exit?" "Right through that building." And he goes, "All right." What I wasn't going to tell that person, and anybody that knew me at Lockington knows what came past that point. You went back in the building, and when you went back in the building, there was a maze.
Oh, no.
The maze, till you start crawling.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I sent him right through. And the guy that was in charge goes, "Who in the hell sent that guy through the maze?" And I was like, "You didn't tell us that, he could exit any other place." And he goes, "He could have gone right there." It's like, "Yeah, but you were not clear on the instruction." And he goes, "You know better." I said, "I'm new at this. What do I know?" And John looked at me and goes, "We got to shut down for a second." I said, "Oh, yeah?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Why?" He goes, Because what you didn't hear was when he went back in and he started going, he goes, "What the hell is this?" And the other guy goes, "I think it's a maze." And then he goes, "Oh, hell, man. Do I got to crawl through this?" Yes, you do. They actually had to clean the maze.
Wow.
Do I feel bad about this?
No.
Have I ever figured out who the guy was? No. But I swear to you, I'd put him on this podcast in a heartbeat.
Dude, if you randomly find us, message us.
Oh, yeah, that would be absolutely hilarious. I mean, 3 guys, and he just rumbly tummy and this and that. Later on that year, I went after a person and got a golden toilet off of them, where they peed and shit themselves, and then I was nice and I let them go the correct way because I didn't want to get lectured again. But yeah, that would be my funniest story, other than the girl that said, "Jesus is with me, Jesus is with me, Jesus is with me." And I said, "Yeah, well, he's with me too." And she said, no, he's not. No, he's not. And I said, "Yeah, he is." And her guardian, father, uncle, whoever, looks at me and holds up this little Bible and goes, "Have you heard the good word?" And instantly I went Scooby-Doo. Yeah, there's cookies. Couldn't think of nothing. Instantly, he popped that up, and I thought of Scooby-Doo, the second movie, where Scooby looks at the Girl Scout cookies, looks at the guy and says, "Yeah, there's cookies." So, is there anything that you've done at a haunt actor that instantly you stopped, you shook your head, and said, "I fucked up"?
So it's not really a fuck up, but it made me second guess my life decisions. So we had a group hit the cabin, and there was this girl, and she was just straight up terrified. Like, she was in the back of the group, covering her face, just wouldn't interact. And so I got up, like, right beside her, and I started sniffing really loud. And everybody else, like, even the actor that I had working with me was like, "What is going on?" And she finally looked up at me, and I was like, "You smell different when you're awake." And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "What?" And so the group left. And I was just standing there in amazement that I just said this to this poor girl. And the person I had working with me was like, "What did you just say to them?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't even know. It just slipped out." And they were like, "Dude, she's terrified now." And I was like, "I think I just scared myself saying that." So that gets said a lot now, especially with, like, the people that I have working with me. They'll get up right beside someone and be like, "You smell different when you're awake." They're like, "What?" And they're like, "What?" So yeah, that one took me off guard that I even said that. I was like, "What the heck just happened?"
I always have pairs of pliers with me when I do chainer, because I tell people how their piercings go in and how they come out. And then I tell them flat out, that's not how I'm going to take them out.
No.
And there was a girl 2 years ago. She had a piercing here, had one here, had one here. And I said, "Ooh." And she goes, "What?" I said, "I love implants." And I went ahead and I told her, I said, just so you know, I'm going to take every piercing out of your face. And I'm going to enjoy taking every piercing out of you, even the ones I don't see yet. Horrified that girl. Horrified that girl. Because I didn't know. Later on, she goes completely through the haunt, this and that, and she was just absolutely like white ghosting going through. And then her friend came up and she goes, "She's not the same after you said that." I said, "Okay." And she goes, "She has probably somewhere around 20 piercings." I said, "Oh my God."
Oh man.
I was like, I didn't even know you could put 20 piercings in. And then she started going and talking about her ears. And then she actually had one in her nose that went across. And then she had this one. Then she had this and that. And she had one that dangled here and there. And then you went down to having two here. And then we went to more section, then more section, and this and that. And I'm like, every time this girl is telling me where all the piercings are, I'm just looking back at this girl. And it was horrible. It was horrible. Because this girl was thinking of every piercing and having this big guy stomp her while ripping out every piercing.
Oh,
like,
man.
She did not run. She did not scream. She did not do anything. It was a total lockup walkthrough. And then as soon as it was done, she stood there and her friend was like, "It's okay. He was joking." And stupid me just looked at her and said, "But I don't think it was really joking." Really? And they left. They left. I never seen her again. You know, here's a good question. Have you ever scared somebody and just thought, I wonder what they're doing now?
Yes, 100%. So one of the guys that I've said my weird lines to, like you were saying, there's a whole new level of fear when they don't even react. They just stare off into the abyss and think about their life choices. And that's exactly what happened to this dude. Like, I was outside afterwards and I see him come down the steps and he was just ghost white. Didn't even look at anybody. Like, you could just tell he was like, what just happened in there? And like, I almost felt bad until his friends were like, you should go talk to him. I'm like, and say what? And they were like, just see if he wants to go out after this. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. So I walk up to the guy. I'm like, hey, buddy. And he just like snaps out of it, looks at me, wide eyes. I was like, what are you doing after this? And he's like, going home. And I was like, well, what's your address? And the dude literally started to say his address. And he goes, wait a minute. I was like, okay, we're done here. Yeah, that one, I was like, that one makes me wonder. I'm like, how bad did I mess this guy up, you know?
Yes. It's hilarious. Dude, when you are the weird kid, and you know you're the weird kid in school because everybody makes fun of you, and you go to a local haunted house, and you know for a fact some of the haunters you know, and when you can use that to your advantage, because I was desensitized because of how many horror movies I watched, so I just blow kisses at them. And one of them, I just blew kisses at and said, I'll see you after the haunt and under your bed. And he just started backing away.
Ned, we're going to bring this up, I guess, huh? Okay. Oh, boy.
We talked about this before the show started, and he said, I'm not talking about this.
We can talk about it. All right, so I used to tell people that, like, and this was more towards the people that, like, weren't, like, the scared ones of the group. This was just trying to be, like, entertaining. I would rip my flannel open, and I would say, lick my belly button. 99% of the time, they'd be like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. Until the one guy, I ripped it open, and I was like, lick my belly button. He goes, okay. And I was calling his bluff. I was like, you're not going to do it. And he goes, yes, I will. I was like, then come here and do it. And he walked up and did it. And I was like, nope, we're done. Open the door. I was like, all right, get out of here. And I walked outside. And I told Nat, I was like, dude, I'm never saying that again. Like, I can't do it now. I was like, that scared me. And so then the dude proceeds to post on Facebook about how he licked my belly button. So yeah, that was not my proudest moment.
Okay. So I was guest acting at Haunted Town Hall. And when I was doing this, I was like with April. She was in one room. I was in another room. I was in the room. That's the upside down room. And I had that drop panel. I scared the hell out of this woman to the point she pulled her shoe off and threw it at me.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as that happened, I took that panel and threw it back up. Took my flashlight, grabbed this shoe. And she's pounding and pounding and pounding. And I'm dropping this panel really quick because that's a really good drop panel. Good job on the design. Boy, that's a good one. Anyway, she knew it was popping, and I looked at her and started screaming at her to be quiet and go away. So I would slam it back up. And she just, there was this guy, and this next group comes in and says, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "No, he won't give me my shoe back." And they're like looking around going, "The hell are you talking about?" Because it's a drop panel.
Right.
They don't always look like a freaking drop panel. Ned, good design. Good design. Anyway, she finally was yelling, and I could see April on the air side just shaking her head. She knew what I was doing. And as soon as that people get right there, I hit that panel and dropped it, and I went, "Ah!" And I took my arm out and slammed it against the wood. And I took this woman's shoe and I threw it back at her. And I threw it back up. And I slammed my arm so hard against that wall that my arm went numb. Like, whoo, went numb. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, that's not good. So I went down and I told Ned, I said, "I just lost the feeling in my arm." And he goes, "What?" I said, "It's working, but I can't feel it." And he goes, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, here comes the big ginger Max. And he's going through, and he wanted to know why I wasn't in my spot. My arm's not working. It was the weirdest feeling. It was like that tingling feeling all through my arm and this and that. And I'd never hit it that hard again. I told myself I wasn't going to do that anymore. Nope. I hit that trigger and wham with that arm again. And I'm like, damn, am I going to learn? Well, we were talking about you off the air too, Mr. Jordan. When you get a hold of my toilet bowl plunger and you chase people outside with it. Yeah. Everybody wants some of that pudding. But that is one of the coolest things. You guys at Haunted Town Hall, you guys absolutely have so many great spots, great designs, great thought process. Fat guy here does not fit behind the metal in the clowns. I don't care what you say. Kennedy, I'm not fitting on the other side. There's a story with that. She said, "Oh, here's a group. Just go around the metal." And I said, "Okay." So I went and I tried going through this metal, and I was stuck between the wall and the metal. And I was like, that's not fitting. And she looked at me and she goes, "Here comes a group. Do something." And I'm like, "What am I going to do? I'm stuck." And she looked at me and she goes, "I don't know." So she comes in and she goes, "Hello, hello, hello, and welcome to the freak show." And I'm like, "Hi." But I learned my lesson. Fat boys do not fit in that damn metal. And if you think about it, Nate, you will know what spot I'm talking about.
I think I know exactly which spot you're talking about.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. It's like he wants one of them toilet bowl plungers for Christmas. I'm just saying. Get your haunter friends great presents like that. In all the years you've been doing it, we've already talked about the props. So, what's your there's just so much to it. I mean, seriously. What's your favorite part about your character?
Probably how quick I can go from acting calm and like being the calm, creepy, so one of the things I do, I have a deer head in the cabin that I named Jeffrey. And so I'll be standing there and I'll be talking to Jeffrey as soon as I hit the cabin. And I'll just be quietly, I'll be petting him, and they'll still be at the door like, what is he doing? Like, what, do we got to go near this dude? And then I'll just instantly stop and I'll snap back at him. And they're like, whoa, wait a minute. And then I'll just take off running at him. Like that to me is one of the funnest things that I do, is go from the calm, cool, collected, like psychopath, if you will, to this, I'm just going to rip your face off person.
Friday.
That is cool.
You're being quiet. You gotta have something here.
Oh, I do have something. Of all the props you've seen the other haunt actors use, have you seen one recently that you've thought, ooh, that looks like fun?
Yes.
I wonder how my character would use it.
So when I went to Land of Illusion last year, and I even brought this up to Ned, trying to put a bug in his ear about it, cough, cough. They have a hillbilly scene there, and when you walk in, instead of like your normal like body parts or like we have chickens hanging up in the cabin at the town hall, it was catfish heads. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, dude, I could rock those things so hard.
Yeah.
So, Ned, if you're still here, cough, cough. Just saying.
I know a person that might be going to a special show that might have to look for them.
Absolutely. I was talking about those all year. I was like, dude, those, like, I've just never seen something like that. It's just your typical, your normal human heads or body parts, or like I've seen a lot of chickens and stuff, but I've never seen anybody use catfish heads.
If you get a catfish head, please tell me that your character would start making out with it.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100%.
If I can find one and it's where I can purchase it, I will buy it and you will find it in your shack.
Deal.
I want to see TikToks of you making out with this thing.
Oh yeah, you definitely would.
You have a TikTok?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. I don't post as much as I should, but it's there.
Neither do I. It's just,
yeah.
Oh, legs got numb. Better get off the toilet.
Yeah, let's not. It already doesn't smell pleasant in that cabin sometimes, so let's not.
Fishy, 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 fishy. So, all right, you've been haunting for years, and you've done many different things. Now, let me ask you this: have you ever been to a haunters convention?
I went one year when they had it in Columbus a long time ago. And the person that I went with ended up getting sick, so we left like an hour into it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was so sad.
I could top yours. I don't want to. I can. My last convention was really, really sad. I got a notification that fire trucks were going to my buddy's house.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I sent a message, and my friend's mom sent me a message, said it was him, and then told me that he's gone. And that destroyed my entire Sunday.
Right.
And then I had to drive back, and I don't even remember most of the mile markers.
Right.
And I'm a truck driver. I know mile markers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was totally gone. So, speaking of wonderful conventions, as soon as I get off of here tonight, I gotta go straight to bed because tomorrow I will be going to Transworld. And
Nice.
if anybody sees me at Transworld, absolutely come talk to me, because if you're in the haunted house industry, I want to talk to you. Now, if you're just seeing this and Transworld was like, 6 months ago, you can still get a hold of us, and we'll be more than happy to have you on here. But
Oh yeah.
It is other than the fish heads. Would you modify your character?
My character. There's been some talks about it. I think this year I gotta get with Ned, but I think this year it's gonna be a new costume, maybe a whole new look. So we'll see what happens.
Can I make a suggestion to you?
Absolutely.
Okay, what you need to do is you need to go get a paint can from Menards, and one of the fresh, never had paint in it, and put meatballs in it.
Meatballs.
And put sauce in. Yeah, and put sauce in it, and tell them that you're eating testicles.
All right, you know what? Deal. When you see me next year, deal. 100%.
You might get sick and tired of meatballs after a while, but I'm just telling you.
Deal. Look, you know my character, man. Next time you see me next year, it'll be there.
Just Ned's going to kill me.
Oh, 100%.
You'll not eat pizza after the haunt, because
I'm okay with that.
You'll be like, I ain't been eating. Oh, look.
Everybody wants to go with you.
You know what? I thought he was going, but I really thought he was going. But yeah, this is taking place of me going to Midwest, and there's a possibility that everything could be done for next year, that OHA will have OHC. So if OHA has OHC, it will be at the reformatory.
Sweet.
That means that I will absolutely have to do everything I can for OHA, and I can't do it for Chainer's Haunted Secrets, which is kind of like a pity party for me. Canceled the trip. Oh, okay. It's because I'm going, and I'm going to be talking about keychains, and I know how much you don't like them dang keychains. I'm sorry. I tried, okay?
That's okay. Send me one.
See, I could send her one. I mean, she would get a whole collection. There's a lot of different haunted designs. Hell's Dungeon even wants HD in theirs. But I'll tell you, it's always a pleasure having a wonderful haunter like you, because you've been around, you've seen what you're capable of. But the thing is, question now is this everything you can bring to the table, or do you think that you're just waiting for another moment to spice it up with Italian meatballs?
Yeah, but there is that. I think there's still some more. I definitely don't think that I've plateaued or anything. It's just a point of, let's just see how far I can take it before Ned's like, all right, calm down.
Oh no, he went back to the back of my car and said, nope. Maybe. There is a chainsaw I really want to look into a little more. I do want to purchase, and I don't get paid for talking about this saw. I don't get a discount for talking about this saw. And I want this saw to come on this show because I really, really, really like this saw. But this is a chainsaw that the creator has taken the time, him and his partner has absolutely taken the time to make this chainsaw the most realistic chainsaw that they could possibly make. And there's two versions. There's the full size or there's the mini. And then they have another one that's called the cyber saw. But this is a chainsaw called a haunt saw. And the sound is so smooth off of it. And it is done with a programmable Bluetooth speaker. And they said that they can actually have you Bluetooth link your phone into it. That way, if you're working and you just want to listen to music, you can listen to music through the saw. Cool. Which is absolutely. But you've heard saws and you've done this and that. And it has that noticeable sound that when you're pulling the throttle, it goes through the levels. This is so smooth on going through the levels. That's amazing. And it actually has a saw blade that goes down and hits the ground. And it goes from that winding to actually a sound that sounds like you're cutting.
Wow.
Which is very, very beautifully done. They 3D print some of the parts. It is done with a hell of a frame. The guy asked me what my opinion was last year about it. And I think someone told me that it changed a little bit. And I'm thinking that it changed the way I told him this would help. Like I said, I don't get paid by this guy. And if he is at this convention, I see him. I'm sitting down and I'm threatening him to come on the show because I love that product so much. But the thing is, I do not own one. And the reason that I do not own one is because the price tag is almost $1,500 on this saw. Comes with two batteries. A charger, and all this. Is it worth it? If I could run it at Ned's and chase people at Ned's, maybe. At Hell's Dungeon, maybe. At my hot, I will still use Rachel. Because Rachel is a beautiful chainsaw, and no one will outdo my Rachel.
No.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, conventions are coming up. Transworld is starting tomorrow, and it runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is for the show floor. There is a lot of people that will have products that go to this convention, and this is pretty much the only convention you're going to see these products at. It is a convention that if you are a haunt owner or a haunt actor, those are the people that they really want, because as haunt owners, we're looking at what we can buy, what we can get. Midwest Haunters Convention will be in June. And before that, you'll have East Coast Haunters Convention. And then in August, you will get Texas Haunters Convention, which we have conventions all over the United States. And I think it's awesome. You can be really surprised what you'll find at these conventions. My toilet bowl plunger was actually a raffle gift that I won. And I am so happy that I won it, because as so simple as that is, that was pricing about $35. So if you're thinking about starting your haunt, or you're jumping into being a haunter, remember, there's going to be a price tag on the higher the stuff is. I mean, if you can create your stuff, awesome. Nate, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions real quick. People that are just getting in the haunt industry never even thought they were going to do this. What would you tell them?
Definitely, if you're just getting into it, you definitely don't have to go out and buy the expensive stuff. Wait to see if this is something you really want to do before you get into that. But honestly, I think the biggest piece of advice I can give anybody just getting into it is you got to have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, you're going to be miserable all night and all season. Whether that's I guess you just have to find a way to have fun with it, and if you can't, then it's not for you.
Okay. So, what to you is a good starting character?
Well, definitely not standing in a shower. I get that's a hard question. I've always told like new people at the Haunted Town Hall, you have to find a character that you have fun with and you think that you can build off of, if that makes any kind of sense. And I know, like, saying that to a new person, they're like, that I don't understand that. But if you just get thrown in a spot and you don't build your character with that, then you're gonna hit a wall really quick.
So, you being there these years, and this is the first haunt that you ever been at, right?
Yep. User.
So, there's no jumping around and being able to compare it with other things.
The shower. Dude, give me a throwback night, Ned. Throw the shower in there. I think I can do so much better now.
I'm sorry. I don't even remember the shower scene.
That's because it was a 1-year thing and it was done. So it was where it would have been is right in front of the maze upstairs, right after the hallway.
All right.
If you would have turned, so if you walked down the hallway after the doctor's office, you would have turned and it would have literally just been right there with a light above it, right before you walk into the maze.
Okay.
Yep.
By the way, I will. Nothing makes me laugh more than being around that maze, because that is an amazing maze. It is tight. It is tilted, and who in the hell put a damn shock collar in there?
You can thank Ned for that. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I know he's got the pad in there, and you're filling around in the dark, and yeah.
And he put it in such a good spot because you have to touch that. Like, there's no way around it.
The first time I went through was with Max, and he hit that. And I'll tell you what, that made that guy jump.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, what the heck? And he goes, oh, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, okay. And I missed it. I was
really?
like, what the hell were you talking about? So I went back through one time, and I was like, oh. Yeah, he did a great job. And it's not a lot of voltage. It's not going to hurt you or anything like that. It's just going to make you go, ooh. But yeah, now I kind of want to see that shower scene.
Well, tell Ned to bring it back for 1 year or even a weekend, just a throwback weekend.
Oh my gosh. He announced that it's coming. You know what? If you can't work it, I'll put honey glaze in there. I'll just be standing there with my bucket just eating chicken wings out of it. And then as soon as somebody comes, I'll be like, I didn't pay the water bill. And slam it shut. We'd have some fun with that. Me and my sexiness. I mean, he did tell me no rip-off pants. He didn't say I had to have pants. He just said no rip-off ones.
There you go.
Just for clarity there. But no, yeah. That's what's coming to Town Hall. I can see it now.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh yeah. Not only would that be there, it would be in the dark, so no one would be like, "What the hell did I just see?"
I think if you bring Honeyglaze over, you're gonna have to work in the cabin with Bobo. I think those two would have a blast.
You're eating your meatballs and I'm eating my wings. You'll be like, "Yeah, these testicles taste good." You'll be like, "Hey, you ain't got nothing on these. Oh, too spicy? Here, try that." That's exactly what I was doing the entire time. And someone told me, they're like, I don't eat chicken on the bone. I said, "Oh, you like boneless?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, okay." And I took my black gloves, grabbed that piece, and ripped off that meat. And I said, "Here you go." And she's just like, "Can you please get away from me?"
No.
Please. And that's the thing. My character was supposed to be something totally different, but something happened. And there's another picture at my house where I'm actually in the Betty Bad bag, which is a paper bag that has 2 holes that are cut out and 1 hole here. And it's got red hair coming out of it. And yeah, I was walking around like that until somebody said, "Hey, I need you to do this." And I'm like, "I can't do that in this."
Right.
So I started taking it out. I mean, it was fun taking the wings and shoving it through that little hole and then pulling out bone. And people were like, "What the hell?" It's like, and I'm like trying to do my feminine voice. "This is good." And people are just like, "He does not make me feel comfortable." And Fred goes, "What the hell?" But no. So, hey, we're at our 2 hour. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Is there any place that you'd want people to find you if they're looking for you in all the dark places?
I guess they're just gonna have to come see me at the town hall.
Looking for Bobo in all the wrong places.
And when you get there, make sure you find Ned and tell him that we need a calendar.
Okay, Ned gave me permission to do family photos at Town Hall. I think we should add you into the family photos.
Name a time and place.
Well, the place is going to be the Town Hall.
Well, yeah, okay. Just name a time. I'll be there.
But any place else you want people to find you?
I mean, they can look for me on TikTok. It's just Bobo the Hellbilly. They're going to be disappointed though because I don't post nearly as much as I should.
Dude, I'm adding Bobo. We're going to add him right now here. Bo. Is it the Hillbilly?
I think it's the Hellbilly. Give me 1 second. Let me look. Yep, it's Bobo _the _HELLBILLY.
Oh, I was spelling this totally wrong. Forgive me. Yeah, I'm gonna. You know, there's a Bobo Hood and Chief.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. The things that we find, right?
Right.
Exactly.
But no matter what, we appreciate you coming on the show. Friday, where can we find you?
Here on the LA Network and Vacor and Friday with the Blue Box and if you would like to read my stuff at Jennifer Elliott.
Okay.
I think you found the video.
No, I don't know what I found. I found a whole bunch of stuff, and I'll tell you what, that is not him.
Okay, I founded him.
I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad you found him because I found something else. Unless you're, never mind. I'm not even starting that. The things you find on Tickety Top.
I even found his Facebook page.
Hell, I couldn't find his Facebook page.
I'm telling you, those two R's mess people up.
Yeah, no, Ken. It's not my fault. Anyway,
The
hey,
Nate part messed me up to begin with.
Hey, I appreciate everybody for watching, having a great time, having Nate, Bobo the clown, Boo Boo the clown, Hillbilly, whatever the critter is. That's what it is, critter. That's what we're going to call you, critter.
Yes,
hey,
we're critter.
We appreciate you guys for joining us here. I'm Pile Hazard. You can find me at Facebook. That's Pile Hazard. You can find me. Everything is Pile Hazard. I will tell you right now, any place you want to find me, it's going to say Pile Hazard. You can't get away from that. Here pretty soon, I'm probably even going to be able to put Pile Hazard with the little blue check mark just because I did something. Yeah, I did something.
You always do things.
I'm going to be a published author. Who thought that was a good idea? I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to actually, and yeah. So there's a book coming out. It's going to have, what the heck? Bobo, Boo Boo the critter. Yeah, there we go.
I told you I found him.
No, this one right here. Boo Boo
Yes.
the critter.
Oh,
yeah,
that.
So
anyway,
absolutely appreciate you guys. Jenny, would you like to talk about that? That's coming out or not yet?
Oh, I can talk about it. Let me find the thingies. So basically, Owl Light Network in very soon, somewhere around May, the end of May, we have a book coming out. 2 books, actually, because we got more. We have Onwards Adventure Realistic Dreams, Onwards to Adventure Realistic Dreams, and Onwards to Adventure Fantastic Tales. Kyle will be in the Realistic Dreams, and I will be in the Fantastic Tales. And oddly enough, Chaos, our lovely Chaos, his pictures made it into the Realistic Dreams with Pile. I will be posting pictures everywhere, and I will send Pile his soon, and we can make this happen and share it everywhere.
Absolutely, and I'm excited. You know, it's just one of those things that I've battled so many things, and if it wasn't for the haunt industry, I don't even think I would be here. So I had to absolutely be really, really loving to every single haunter. I appreciate you coming. And next time we talk about Haunted Town Hall, maybe we'll actually have an official person, not just an actor. I mean, you're official, but I'm talking about the person that promised a long time ago.
Dude, Ned, we need you. Hurry up.
You know what? If we don't get Ned, let's get Nettie. That would be a trip. I will go over to their house and I will set everything up and tell them, just click this button. I will absolutely. Well, I appreciate everybody for joining us on this wonderful episode through one of the haunts that I absolutely have taken part into, absolutely loving it. And I can't wait to figure out who we're going to have on the next show, because as of right now, I don't have anybody on my schedule because I haven't put no one on the schedule. I've been more occupied with this convention, and there's going to be people I want from this convention, because we want to talk about haunted houses all around, no matter where you are. We want to find you. We want to talk to you. And we want to see what makes you make people scream. So,
yes.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. You guys all have a great one. And hey, Friday, it's been 2 weeks. Hit the lever, Crunk. Not that lever!